Welcome back to Behind the Scenes. This is the first of two parts with a very special guest. I had an opportunity not too long ago to meet up with Michael Learned, and we had some fun together, and I thought it only appropriate that one of the first things we did together here in part one was spend some time in the kitchen cooking something up. So here's part one with Michael Learned.
Today, I'm very excited about my guest. We have known each other for 50 years, but who's counting? She is an incredible actress. She's done stage, screen. She's a 4-time Emmy winner, a 3-time Golden Globe nominee, a People's Choice Award winner. But for 9 seasons, I was so fortunate to get to call her Mama. Please welcome Michael Learned.
Now I make my entrance.
You make
right?
This is your entrance, Michael.
Bravo, Judy.
Thank you. So thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So what are we making today?
Well, we're making a zucchini. It's zucchini Italian style.
Awesome.
My mother taught me this recipe years ago.
So I know we have a pot of boiling water here, which you said to put together, and I don't think it's because we're delivering any babies. So what are we doing with this boiling water?
I guess you can use real fresh tomatoes if you want, or you can use canned, which is easier. But as we don't have canned tomatoes here, if you want to plop those in there, we'll just peel those off. Leave them on the vine because they only need to be in there for a second, just enough to loosen the skin.
Here we go.
And I'm going to start chopping some garlic here.
I'd be the person using the canned tomatoes because that's about my style.
It's
in the
much
kitchen.
easier, and they're just as good. Well, almost as good.
But I do love, whenever I am cooking, as much as possible, using real fresh ingredients.
It's good, yeah. And you have some nice fresh herbs here, which is great. I don't know about you, but I love garlic, so I always over garlic everything.
Works for me.
I'm chopping up about 3 cloves of garlic here. And you really don't need that much because I'm a very spicy gal.
I know that about you, Michael.
Yeah, but don't tell anybody, okay?
No, I won't. It's our secret, okay?
Hey, Judy, we never get out of the kitchen. What's wrong with us?
I know.
We're
How much
always in the
time
kitchen.
have we spent in the kitchen?
Gosh.
This is like very familiar. So did you spend a lot of time? I mean, we spent all those hours in the kitchen on the Waltons, but at home.
endless.
Did you cook at home? You had 3 boys you were raising.
Oh, yeah, I cooked. I've always cooked.
Are these,
okay.
Should I be pulling these out?
Yeah, they can come out. Okay. I was brought up to say tomatoes. I can't help it. My father would not let us say tomatoes, so I'm not being snooty, but I say tomato, you say tomato.
Well, where was your father from?
Connecticut, actually. Greenwich. My father loved to cook, as well as my mother. My mother grew up in Rome, so she cooked Italian.
Ah.
And she was a very good cook.
So did she say tomato or tomato?
She said tomato because my father said tomato back in those days, Okay, so we want a little butter.
All right.
If you mix butter and olive oil, it helps keep the butter from turning brown.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So. And what sort of light do we want here?
Well, don't turn it on yet. So I'm just, sorry, I don't mean to be so bossy.
Okay.
I'm
it's
sorry.
Okay, Mama.
Okay, a little oil, a little butter, and then we've chopped the garlic here, so we'll just throw some of that in there. And then now if you want to turn it on at a low heat because we just want to kind of brown the garlic a little bit, but not too much.
All right.
So that's about 2 cloves of garlic. You can put more if you want. I would put more, but you don't have to. Okay. And then we'll chop up the tomatoes.
I actually get asked if I learned about cooking from you because of the series. I was like, no, you don't understand that we never really cooked, although
no, we didn't.
We played with ingredients a lot.
We did some awful things, didn't we?
Yes.
We'd have a dinner scene and they'd bring out all this stuff in nice bowls and everything to serve us. And the first serving would be fine, but then it would all get shoved back in the bowls, remember?
Recycled food.
About 6 or 7 times, and by the end of it, I never ate, ever.
It's funny, because I have said that to fans, and so it's now there's always the...
Are they looking now?
They are, and they'll say, I saw her take a bite in
no,
that
I
episode.
never did. I faked
you did.
it. No, I faked it. How's that coming along? Yeah, that's doing okay.
Yeah, it smells good. Yeah.
While we're doing that, why don't we chop up some of this? This is...
That's the basil.
This is basil, and this is oregano. Yeah. We don't want too much oregano because it's basil really complements the tomatoes, but oregano is a very powerful herb.
I once asked a lot of our Walton fans what their favorite room in the house was, and the majority of people said the kitchen. And it does seem to be the heart of the house for a lot of people, and food represents a lot of different things to a lot of different people. What would you say food represents to you? I mean, we use
Life. And you know, in Italy, I had the great good fortune as a kid to live in Italy for a little while. And you know, they talk about food all the time. It's like food is like another human being. They celebrate food, which is wonderful. I don't think we do that so much in this country.
I know
Okay.
the French will go out every day and buy all of their ingredients that day for what they're going to cook that evening. Is it the same you find with the Italians?
Pretty much, I think, depending on where they live, of course. Europeans like fresh food. We are into frozen foods and
Yeah, too many
canned
processed
foods and stuff. And in Europe, it's fresh. That's what they want.
Yeah. Are you someone who likes to have people in the kitchen when you're cooking, or are you sort of, I want everybody out and I'll serve it when I'm ready?
I like people in the kitchen. I like people, period. But I don't know.
Yeah, I know you a number of times had gatherings at your house for the cast and served us meals and stuff. and
People usually wind up in the kitchen.
They do.
That's because
do.
I'm there.
Of course.
I'm now chopping up a little bit of this wonderfully fresh oregano that you brought. Not so much of this, more of the basil and less of the oregano.
Okay. Well, it smells wonderful.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Garlic. I love garlic. I
Yeah.
love the smell of garlic and onions.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? Should we put a little more? We'll finish up this one. And I leave the skin on, but you can take the skin off if you want.
I like
or
it
you
with the
can,
skin,
You know, you can peel it so that you have a little bit of skin, but not quite as much.
And are we adding salt and pepper?
Yes.
Or, okay, I'll let you.
Well, the salt, you know, my mother, this is my wonderful mother, who should never have been in a kitchen ever, but she was a wonderful cook. But she, you know, salt makes things melt like water. I mean, it draws water out of things. So she always said, salt it later.
Oh,
Cook it first and salt it later. So this is pepper. I think I want a little more olive oil. That's kind of how I cook. It's like I look at it, I smell it, I taste it, and
yeah, my mom was
a
like
little bit of this,
that.
a little bit of that.
I would ask her for how she made, some of my favorite dishes, and it was always by sight or by feel or.
Was your mom Italian?
No, she was English, so everything was kind of bland and overcooked.
Oh my gosh, cabbage. And I went to an
No,
English boarding school. Oh Lord, the food was awful.
Yeah.
And it was after the war, so everything was rationed.
No
too, so-
ingredients. Yeah, she talked about never tasting like a banana until she was in her 20s because they were rationed all while she was growing up during the war.
I was there in 1950, and it was still rationed.
Yeah.
It was horrible because they rationed sugar, and so that meant
Oh.
candy. I didn't get any candy.
Aw.
I think this is doing fine.
Okay. So now
Now
we
you can just let it simmer and, just occasionally test the zucchini. It still needs some time.
And what would you serve this with? When would you?
Well, it depends. You can serve it with anything, but if you're having meat or rice or if you're just having vegetarian, you need some other vegetable to go with it, a green
Right.
vegetable maybe. But it's tasty and easy, really easy.
Well, I mean, you are to so many people America's mom. And I was so lucky to have you as a surrogate mom and a mother figure in my life, ever since I was like 14.
That's so sweet of you to say.
That's just been a very special relationship in my life.
I feel that way about you guys. We'd be shooting, and then we'd all go home for hiatus, and I got to be with my own kids, thankfully, and then we'd all come back after the 3-month, and you'd have boobs, and you were wearing a bra.
No, that
and
never happened.
The boys had grown about 2 feet
Yeah.
while we were going, and so I got the great joy of having 2 families, my own. And you guys, I loved you so much and still do. I couldn't have done it if we didn't get along. I could not have done it.
Yeah.
Ralph and I had a fight once, an argument. It wasn't a fight, but it was an argument, a heated argument about something. I had to knock on his dressing room on the way to the set. I said, we have to make up because I can't shoot the scene if we're still mad at each other. And of course, Ralph held out his arms like that.
With that smile and those beautiful blue eyes. And, but you were a role model. Awesome.
We don't want to overcook it.
Okay. You were such a role model for...
My character.
Right.
My character.
But what was that like for you then in real life, representing this? She wasn't perfect, but she was such a great example of a nurturing, caring mom and setting that kind of example. And how was that for you in real life?
Well, that was easy because I love my kids. I mean, I have the good fortune to enjoy my children.
I've heard so many people say they wanted to try to be like John and Olivia Walton as parents. And I mean, that's quite something to have created a role that has inspired so many people. Do you ever feel that pressure when you're out interacting with people who have been fans? And
yeah, because I have a filthy mouth, as you well know. And I let some kind of swear word escape once, and I saw people just... It almost knocked them to the floor. And Olivia Walton knows that word. And I said, yeah, and she also knows where those kids came from, too. But yeah, it's a responsibility, really, when you're playing that kind of a role.
But you have so many of those qualities. You're kind, you are compassionate, you're so generous and giving.
You're so sweet.
I mean, I see that not just with us, where if one of us had something and needed you to be there and listen, you absolutely would. You cared about us and you looked out for us even when we weren't aware of it. So,
yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
But those were the real qualities of you that were part of Olivia, so don't sell yourself short.
Ralph,
yes, both of
thank
you.
And we loved you. We loved you guys. I don't think I could have done it. I don't think I could have done it if we...
I don't think it would have lasted.
I think our love for each other was real, and it came across.
Yeah.
And which is what made the show what it was.
I think we should
It's
plate
done.
this up and give it a taste. So this
Such a responsibility,
this is you
Judy.
getting to see Michael actually eat something for real. It may never
I never
happen.
ate on the show. I never did. I just, because you have to match.
Yeah.
And I would just push things around on my plate.
I did see things go into your mouth, and you were
What
talking.
was it?
So
It must have been pie or something.
That at one point, cake or pie, and then there was an episode where you went to the Godzies and she made some sort of French food, and I did see you.
Who did?
Cora.
Oh, Corbett.
Yeah.
She couldn't cook.
Well, how was
I'm
whatever
kidding.
they made? How was whatever the prop department made to eat?
Okay.
All right.
Have at it.
Okay. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would say probably a little more garlic. I would be probably my preference too, but
Well, you took one that didn't have any garlic on it. Here, try this.
I'm thinking, okay, that's the
You
garlic.
better like it, because otherwise I'll stomp away. Okay?
There we go,
Okay.
a successful
What's for dessert?
Yeah, really.
There you have part 1 in the kitchen with me and Michael. I'll be back with part 2 where we talk about life and touch on Michael's career. So please do join me for that. For now, thanks for watching.